It's 5:55 a.m. on Saturday, February 28, 2026, in Israel. Captain Amit Levy sits in the cockpit of an F-15Y on a runway south of Tel Aviv. He's done this drill 100 times. The pre-flight checklist takes 7 minutes. Fuel tanks full, under each wing, a long-range, high-precision missile. This morning's briefing was different. He's not training. At 6 a.m., his squadron lifts off. 2 hours and 5 minutes later, Israeli missiles strike a government compound in central Tehran. Inside one of the buildings is Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, supreme leader of Iran. He has run the country for almost 40 years. By 8:05 a.m., he is dead. This is how it happened. The road to that morning starts decades earlier. In 1979, Iran was an authoritarian monarchy backed by the United States. The revolution that year overthrew the Shah and replaced him with a religious republic founded by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. From day one, the new state declared the United States and Israel sworn enemies. Khomeini died in 1989. Khamenei took his place.
Khamenei ruled Iran for 36 years. He used deadly force at home to crush periodic popular uprisings.
He built up Iran's nuclear program. He financed proxy militias across the Middle East. He survived sanctions, sabotage, and the assassinations of his own generals. At various points, he was declared isolated, weakened, finished. Each time, he simply continued. By early 2026, his position had cracked. Inflation spiraled, bread prices tripled in some cities. By the end of 2025, mass protests had broken out across 30 provinces. The regime shut down the internet for days at a time. Thousands of demonstrators were killed, 50,000 more arrested. Khamenei was holding on, but barely. That was the opening Israel and the United States had been waiting for. According to American and Israeli officials cited in the New York Times, the CIA had tracked Khamenei for months. They had mapped his routine. They knew his decoys. They had identified which of his 3 secure residences he used in different conditions. That morning, they knew something more important. Khamenei was attending a meeting of senior officials at a compound near Heroes Square in Tehran. So were most of the men who would, in any normal succession, take his place. The original plan had been a night strike. This opportunity was too good to wait. At 6 a.m., local time in Israel, the F-15s took off. They flew east through Iraqi airspace. By 8 a.m., more than 200 Israeli aircraft were airborne. American warships in the Gulf prepared Tomahawk missiles. Ground forces positioned artillery rocket systems across the region. At 8:05 a.m. Tehran time, the first missiles hit. The compound near Heroes Square housed offices of the Iranian presidency, the National Security Council, and the Supreme Leader. Satellite imagery taken minutes after the strike shows 3 buildings collapsed. Black smoke rising hundreds of meters into the sky. Geolocation-confirmed footage from a nearby rooftop shows the same. Inside one of those buildings, Ali Khamenei died.
The anchor weeps on Iranian state TV, announcing the death of Iran's supreme leader. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed in his office, says Fars News, by the joint U.S.-Israeli bombardment of the country.
So did Mohammad Bagheri, chief of staff of Iran's armed forces, Ali Shamkhani, head of the National Security Council, Mohammad Pakpour, commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Aziz Nasirzadeh, defense minister. According to Israeli reporting, 30 senior officials were killed in roughly 30 seconds. President Masoud Pezeshkian, away from the meeting that morning, survived. The operation was called Roaring Lion in Israel, Epic Fury in the United States. It had been planned for months. After the missiles hit, the Israeli Air Force moved on Iran's air defenses, especially around Tehran. Within 30 minutes, the United States joined in. American attacks focused on eastern Iran, far from Israel, and on the Iranian fleet. Iran's response, when it came, was called True Promise 4. Within 3 hours, more than 200 ballistic missiles were launched at Israel. the Houthis in Yemen announced they would resume attacks on Red Sea shipping. Iranian allied militias struck U.S. bases in Iraq, Syria, Bahrain, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Drones hit a passenger terminal at Kuwait International Airport. 2 luxury hotels in Dubai caught fire from intercepted debris. Most missiles were shot down. Some were not. Civilian deaths were reported in Lebanon, Iraq, the UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait. In one strike, an air-to-ground missile aimed at an Iranian naval base detonated near an elementary school in Hormozgan province. The Iranian government reported 175 killed, most of them children. The figure has not been independently verified. U.S. Central Command announced an investigation. Oil prices jumped 23% overnight. The Strait of Hormuz, through which 1/5 of the world's crude passes, was effectively closed. The legal basis for the strike is being debated in Washington. The administration argued the attack was necessary to prevent imminent threats to the United States. But Iran's longest-range ballistic missile reaches around 3,000 kilometers, well short of U.S. territory. American intelligence reports from earlier that month assessed Iran was years away from a deliverable nuclear weapon. Critics in Congress, including members of the president's own party, called it a war of choice. Under international law, a war of choice is illegal. Inside Iran, the picture is harder to read. State media did not announce Khamenei's death for almost 12 hours. When they did, the language was careful. The supreme leader had achieved martyrdom. A provisional government formed within the day, drawn from the surviving members of the National Security Council. It has vowed revenge. It continues to launch strikes. But there is no clear successor. Khamenei had spent decades shaping the religious establishment around himself. The clerical hierarchy is now divided. The Revolutionary Guard, historically the regime's enforcer, has lost most of its senior command. For the first time since 1979, the line of succession in Iran is genuinely unknown. The response among ordinary Iranians has been split. In some cities, people poured into the streets to celebrate. In others, they poured into the streets to mourn. Internet access remains intermittent. Foreign journalists have been expelled. What we know now will probably look different in 6 months. What is already clear is this: a man who ruled a country of 90 million people for 37 years was killed in his own office on a Saturday morning. Most of the people who could have replaced him were killed in the same room. 2 missiles. Roughly 30 seconds. Whatever happens next. The world that existed on February 27th is not the world we are in now.